Page 23. Listening for main ideas. A. Look at the pictures. Listen to the lecture and take notes.
Good morning, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed our trip to the Art Museum last week. Today we're going to talk more about modern art. We'll take a look at some examples of public art you can only find outdoors in public places. I'll explain the purpose of public art, and then I'll describe some examples of public art that illustrate three common types of modern art: pop art, realism, and surrealism. But first, public art. These days, public art is becoming more and more popular. Many business and city leaders are putting up art in public places, in parks and gardens, near office buildings, and so on. Cities like to put art in public places for a couple of reasons. First of all, art helps to make our cities look more beautiful and interesting. Also, when art is outdoors, many people can look at it and enjoy it every day. They don't have to go to a museum. So, having art in public places lets more people enjoy art every day. Now, I'm going to move on to some examples of public art. Here's our first example: a silver spoon and a red cherry. This piece is huge. It's 29 feet wide and over 50 feet long. It's made of metal, steel and aluminum. It's painted silver and bright red to look like a spoon with a red cherry on it. The sculpture is a good example of pop art. Pop artists like to make art that shows popular things people see in their everyday lives. This artist likes to take common objects like food and make them into huge sculptures. So what do you think about it? Anyone?
I think it's great. It's really unusual. I like it because it's simple and easy to understand.
Yes, that's why many people like pop art. Any other opinions? Yes. Mark?
Well, I think it's okay, but I think art that is out in public should be something important, something that's very beautiful or that means something. It shouldn't just be some everyday thing like a spoon.
Interesting point. So you can see that one problem with public art is that people interpret the purpose differently. They disagree about what it should look like or mean. And some people may like or understand a piece of art, while other people may not like it at all. As I already mentioned, one purpose of public art is to add beauty to public places where everyone can enjoy it. But another purpose of art is to illustrate ideas or concepts, to show some kind of meaning. Instead of using words, artists can send messages through their art to people who see it. Sometimes artists even use their art to promote their own beliefs. To give you some examples, here are a couple of sculptures that were made to promote the concept of peace. The first one is a large, about 16-foot-tall metal sculpture that shows a young woman on a horse. Notice how real and lifelike the features of the woman and the horse look. Because they are so realistic, we call this style of art realism. But the woman in this sculpture is actually a symbol for peace. So in this example, the art is realistic and symbolizes a concept, the concept of peace. Any questions so far? Okay then. Let's take a look at another sculpture that was made to promote the idea of peace. It's also made of metal and looks like a gun. It's a little smaller than the first example. It's about 6 feet wide and 13 feet long. Huge for a gun. It looks just like a gun until you notice that it is tied into a knot at the end. We all know that it is impossible to tie a gun into a knot, right? And so, because it's impossible, this sculpture is a great example of surrealism. Also, as you know, a gun itself doesn't symbolize peace. However, because the gun is tied into a knot and can't be fired, it illustrates the concept of peace. And so, in these three examples, we can see how public art can be used to make our cities more beautiful and interesting, and we can see how public art can communicate ideas or concepts to people. Let's take a break now, and when we come back, we'll look at some more examples of modern sculpture.
Page 24. Listening for details. A. Close your book. Listen to the lecture again. Add details to your notes and correct any mistakes.